Go with me, not yeah. Yeah, no. It's like, cool.
So, hello friends. It's the finale today. And I just walked off the Mall. That's where my thumbnail was taken from. I don't know if you can see down there. That's known as Buckingham Palace. Down there. My little crew. We're going to walk through Admiralty Arch onto Trafalgar, or? Yeah? Alexander didn't get his sleep this morning. This morning. So he's a little crabby. I'm not sure if they've set up the banners yet. It's just gone 1 o'clock, so hopefully they're on time. But timekeeping isn't one of our strengths. Some of you will know this part of London very well, and others it'll be a bit of a first. Plenty of evidence here of the old mud floodery. This is downstairs, as it were, below ground level. And you'll notice here, I mean, you can just pick any building at random. It's not difficult to find so much post-construction fiddling with the buildings down here. They've shut off those windows, and down there is some sort of strange doorway. You can see quite a lot of this, don't you? So underneath my feet will be at least one more floor. I suspect possibly even two around here, but that's the one. And then it's come to my attention lately that this little column in front of me, Nelson's column they call it, well, it's come to my attention that there are a lot of these, some of them much more impressive, around Europe and in the world, across the world. And you know, they give us this reason, this story about this being built to commemorate this Horatio Nelson and his. Oh, sorry. Nearly took one for the team. We're gonna wait for the green man.
Yeah. It's a red man, isn't it?
This is Trafalgar Square. Let me just quickly say hello to some folks. Hey, Blake Zero, Amanda. Hey, Roxanne. Had to reset it. Oh, right. Okay, they're there. There's Cosmic Cat in the chat. Thank you. Blake Zero, yes, you are first, and please hit the thumbs up, folks, as much as you can. And the flat fellow. That's very nice of you to stop by.
Can I say hello? Hello. That's how Alexander feels today.
Yeah.
He's asked for an ice cream.
Oh.
It's quite fitting, really.
Yeah. He started the tour with ice cream in Italy.
Yeah. And we got a few donations to help him have.
Yeah, and Tommy here, for the fellow, gave us a very, very nice gift, shall we say, and we do appreciate that. Turned out that our council tax was overdue from the House by £160, and they were sending all sorts of nasty letters, and Andrew really felt the need to settle that. So we've settled that yesterday, and it's a load off the mine. I think we can walk through here, honey. I think we can walk through here. Andrea and I came to London in 1994, and 21. She turned 21 here a few months later, and I brought her to these lions. And what did I give you? What did I give you?
Well, back in the day, I don't know if you get them anymore. You got wooden matchboxes, and he opened the matchbox flat. I still got it, and made
like a birthday note.
Card that said happy birthday, happy 21st birthday, I love you very much. And yeah, and that was my present. And he sat on the,
I think that line over there, in fact, was the one we sat on.
sat on the line. And I think we had enough money to go to a local pub and have one drink just to celebrate. Not that we're big drinkers, so it didn't really, wasn't that important. It was just to mark the moment. But I have to say, it just shows you that it's not about the stuff, it's about the experience. And then, you know, I always remember it, and obviously I've still got that.
Yeah.
That very unique.
These waterfalls here are provably level from side to side, but according to Globers, there should be a few millimeters of curvature, even over a body this size. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. We often focus on the long distance. And I was having a conversation with a guy. If you look at the second video down from on my latest videos, where I'd taken a picture of a mirror image, photograph of a mirror image across a body of water, and I had this fairly lengthy conversation with a guy who was trying to convince me that. Yeah, we can go that way. I mean, we'll just walk up here and then go and turn left. Actually, this is where I thought Jason was going to set it up for this finale. I even said so on Globebusters, by mistake. But because this is where Roxanne and Jason came earlier this year and threw the banners down on the floor down here. I've been here a few times on my own and with Harry. It's straight ahead down through, just for those who are interested, that's Whitehall, and halfway down that road is number 10 Downing Street, and then just to the end of that road is the Parliament buildings, were built by people who only had matchsticks and horse and carriage. But it'll take us 10-15 years to fix Big Ben, just do a little bit of repairs on Big Ben. But men with horse and carriage and no computers and no mechanical diggers were able to build that. Good day, mate. Starting to feel that the earth is flat. Yeah, I'll have to tell this guy. Excuse me. Hey, are you guys helping out here today?
We're security for you.
Oh, okay. Have you heard that the earth is flat?
Sorry?
Have you heard that the earth is flat? You know, like water is always level, and earth is 70% water?
I'll have to say to you, I have no comment about it.
Okay, you should look into it. 200 proofs earth is not a globe. Check it out.
No.
Yeah, warm up. Actually, there's a photograph of me in Canada House, just so you know, put it out there. There's a photograph of me, and this is Canada House, by the way. I was invited to like a high-level military meeting for veterans 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, something like that, when I was still in the, I got caught up in all of that, and as I said before, they were fating me because of my experience, my military experience. Anyway, so there's a photo of me standing by the Canadian flag in there, and all smart and whatever.
But no, that doesn't make you an agent.
But that doesn't make me an agent. So I wouldn't be welcome there anymore. This big bird general was like, yeah, come and hang out. We'll have a meeting and stuff like that. And not long after my world started to crumble. And I realized stuff that I knew was wrong. I think 3 live streams going today. Roxanne's, Jason. If the alleged YouTube apocalypse is due in 2 days' time, this may well be my last live stream. Close non-value accounts, and I may represent a non-value account. Let me Just say hello, face to face. Hello, friends. Oh,
Hey.
hey, the Trinities. We're going to start a channel called the Trinities. Aren't we? We're going to try and do something.
Yes.
The Trinity, which is more. Go to Amsterdam, mate. That'll blow your mind. You know, we. Look at this building here. You can't help but be amazed at how unlikely it is that people who built that would also put windows at these odd levels. Yeah, it's easy. You can walk up a pathway, huh? Yeah, so this might well be the last live stream I'm able to do because, well, at least for a time. I know there will be other avenues in future, but if the YouTube thing does occur, someone said to me, look, we needn't worry, small channels like ours are not going to be affected. And that may be true. And of course I'm hoping that is the case, because I enjoy being able to go live at a moment's notice, and I enjoy the opportunity to spread what we do. And as I said, the Trinities thing was, you know, we're looking to build on the positive energy we've experienced from people in this community as we try and build ourselves a family. Good.
You just arrived too?
Yeah.
I'm stumbling about myself.
Okay.
So I've no idea.
I've forgotten your name.
Pascal.
I remember you from the last interview.
Yeah, I was at the last end of the tour party.
Wow. Oh yeah.
Speaker's Corner as well.
Yes. Hello.
Have you been that way?
Have you been to the top side?
I've been around this side.
Let's ask the chat. Do we know where they might? We might have trouble. I see I dropped my signal there, but phone's operating on Smith Global.
Yeah, I think I remember that
Yeah, and we.
yeah, that must have been something.
We were.
I saw a bit of that, I'm sure.
Yeah. And obviously I'm gutted that Harry hasn't. And obviously I'm gutted that Harry hasn't.
Soon it'll be full circle. Have you spotted someone?
Oh yeah. There they are.
I can see Jason.
I can see Jason now. The tour has come.
Well, let right.
La terra è piatta. The earth is flat. The earth is flat. Is flat. I just see him. Hey. How are you? See you. Likewise. Hey!
Right.
I've been looking at this sticker for the last few months. Hey, brother.
Yeah, but don't
Good to see you, man. I'm so glad you came, yeah. Dave.
How you doing, Dave?
Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Good.
Hi, how you doing, buddy? Oh, hey, where's Dave? Dave's coming.
Yeah. Dave's here.
How'd you guys?
Good. Good. How are you?
Wonderful.
Oh,
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I can only do Milton Keynes, but at the end of the day, I've done my little bit.
Oh, yeah. Cosmic Cat! Good, thanks. How are you?
Andrew here.
Yeah, she's here. Oh, some chalk. The earth is flat! How are you going? Cool. Hi.
We met at Kidderminster.
Oh, yeah. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good. Let me just check. I've still got a signal. Oh, my baby boy. He's a little bit...
Vertex.
Vertex! Well, lovely to meet you. This is Vertex!
There we go. The moment.
Lovely to meet you. Give us a hug, mate.
Brilliant.
All right, thank you. Yeah, not too bad.
Things going up.
Well, I'm treading water right now, shall we say. Not yet, no, we haven't. We did actually, thanks to Robin lifting the lid, I did get offered a place up all the way up in Liverpool. Treading water, learning patience or continued patience.
Yeah, it's a virtue apparently.
Yeah. Yes. No, I'm being tested. But we'll see. It's going to work out. Can't get.
That's probably the answer. We should all take minicabs everywhere.
Yeah. The reason that water at rest will be level. Ah, free Quran. Have you found that? In the Quran it says that the earth is flat and unmoving, just like it does in the Bible, my brother. No, I don't believe it. I know it for a fact. Your name is?
Daria.
Daria Mona. Lovely to see you, mate.
But what's happened with you?
Lovely to see you.
Yes, because we said we're gonna meet. How?
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? It has been a while. This is Dario Moda. He's got some interesting take on... You're a biblical man, aren't you?
It's not modern, just Dario.
Yeah.
This mean, what does it mean? It means fashion.
All right.
Photographs.
All right. Yeah, don't take too much belief, my brother. The truth is, water is always level. That's a matter of fact, no belief. The highest form of ignorance is when you reject something you don't know anything about, like the flat earth.
Oh, yeah.
Good. How are you, Jen? Lovely to see you.
And you? You mean on your adventures?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, we caught some little bits of it.
Oh, good.
On YouTube.
Yeah, it's been a crazy month or two.
Where are you?
Crazy
now?
month.
Where are you going to now?
Well, we don't have a base right now. We're just crashing with my sister-in-law. She's got a one-bedroom flat, so we're squeezed in there for the time being. So we're just, we put out spinning. None! I'm wound up. Hello, Lisa. How are you, honey? Good. Welcome back to England. Bittersweet.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. I saw a message actually from your friend that came up in a chat. Something good's gone on for you in Glastonbury. Is that right? Said you'll be really good to get home. Something really exciting's happened. To do with something else. I'm not sure. This guy needs a flyer. No? You want a flyer? Yeah. Check this out, my friend. Oh, you are? You know the Earth is flat?
Talk to Lisa because she's CIA.
Yeah.
You're in Norwich?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, yeah, well, another flat earther. There's quite a group. This is turning into a bit of a hangout. What's your name?
Nigel.
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 I'm
yeah.
Dave.
Yeah. Hello, Dave.
Nice
I
to
know
meet you.
you're all flat, what I call flat faces now. People you recognise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just got off the tube.
Okay.
Come from Norwich.
Oh, well done, mate. Gee, well done. That's a nice one. That's some decent mileage. Some decent mileage. last time I was here, I was with Harry, John Smith Globe Live. Where that homeless dude is sleeping over there. This is where we set up our banners.
Harry's not here today, though.
No, unfortunately not. No. I'd love for him to have come down, but
To meet the
I guess
godfather of
yeah,
street activism.
yeah. But he's working through his thing.
How are you?
Come on, you do hugs now. I do hugs now.
Yeah.
You're right. Thanks for coming.
A flat hug. Oh, Jack. Oh, my friend. I've been keeping an eye on you as much as I can. You're a man who's shy of the camera.
I tried to look some your clips, but I just didn't have time.
Jack's back.
Oh, Dave's back. Oh, the Trinity is here.
There's been times when I'm like, oh, I want to be back on the bus. And
Yeah,
then
especially
times-
first 2 days, I presume.
Yeah.
Because I see it now 2 days when we were driving, but I missed it. The way highway wait.
Yeah.
Today the big goal that we set. So yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, good. Up with your car and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it for sure. That's
Well, there you
not
go.
an issue anymore.
You've heard it from Jack,
It's
and
gonna happen.
you got to set up a YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah. Me and Lisa are gonna create a channel, Jack and Lisa channel.
The Jack and Lisa show. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Did you hear
So
that?
it,
So
we
you
have the banners, the second ones.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will build myself the same kind of setup
Yeah.
to put it nicely in the car. This tube. Yeah. And then we go do this thing. So I will come in a lot of places, you know. Wherever you will be, I'll be there.
Where are we then? We're not in London. Well, you see that? So you need to make sure you look out for Jack and Lisa doing their street activism and getting, supporting, because Jack is a monster. He's a machine when it comes to this.
It's a wheel, it's you just want to do it like you do, man. Like you do. The same. Just gotta spread it out. Can you be quiet for 2 days? I don't think so.
No, but
I don't think so, man.
yeah, well, I'm sure we've learned lots of lessons though from the experience that we've had.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. But can you go for 1 day in, I don't know, in some kind of group of people, nothing, talk about this?
Well, I would like to do more myself. Yeah, it's hard not to talk about it, and I think it's valuable that we find people, more and more people are out there doing this kind of thing. So I could see myself doing it through the summer, maybe not so much in the winter, but
Yeah, of course.
through the spring and the summer, get out there and get that spirit.
It's a little different for you. You have a kid,
Yeah,
so it's a little different.
yeah,
You need some of your time, for sure.
yeah.
Especially now. It's like teeny weeny. How are you?
Yeah, he's all right, but
brother.
well, it's been difficult for him, man. I think that the last 2 months, because he lost 3 months ago, nearly 3 months ago, his brother moved out of the house, and we moved out of the house, then we moved to the farm, then we hit the camper van, and it's been very unsettling for him. So he's not the little boy he was 2 or 3 months ago, and that hurts me because I feel like
That you are in a way responsible for this.
Of course, I'm responsible for that. So, I mean, he's had that 2.5-year-old. Children are really can be kind of difficult to kind of manage and so on. But his life has become so unstable. He doesn't know where his house is. He's staying with his auntie right now.
That's why he's struggling. That's why he's trying a little more energetic.
A little bit aggressive. And because I used to take him out all the time, in the park or just walking or in the garden on the trampoline. We had a trampoline in the garden and everything. So he did lots and lots of that. And he learned to trampoline by himself,
Of course, kid. He's an amazing kid.
Because he started from 3 days old. I took him trampolining from his 3rd day on the trampoline. No, gently on the trampoline, and then bounced more and more and more and more. And then eventually, he's trampolining by himself. But now he hasn't been on the trampoline for nearly 3 months. And also all of that physical activity that he used to get, he doesn't, and of course the camper van, as you know, we were on the road so much, moving so much, there wasn't much time for that.
But what is the situation now? guys? You
Uh,
see something? To open up something? Or
we haven't yet
See
got
some
it.
directions?
Yeah, we haven't quite got that. We haven't got that.
but you got place to stay or
Yeah, well, yeah,
somewhere where
yeah.
where you
Yeah,
can.
yeah. Well, I'm staying with my sister-in-law. She's got a little flat, a one-bedroom flat, so we're all squashed in there. I'm used to living in the
Almost
squash.
like in the camp.
A little like the camper. Not quite as squashed as the camper, and it doesn't move around as much as the camper.
Just
And it's not as cold
yeah.
at the back, man. You know, I know it's really warm up in the cab. but
In
at
a
the
way,
back-
I think that you did a great choice that you live in this time.
Yeah,
Because in upper stairs it was like
so cold.
great cold, yeah.
And a lot of traveling for very few
And
days,
for
like
the
3 or
young
4
man,
days of activity. So it didn't seem like I would have done it myself, and as you did, but for him, it wasn't fair.
Yeah, just for the
For
thing,
4
yeah.
days of activism, all that thousands of miles and the cold.
Yeah, for 4 days, like you said, yeah. It's cold. Minus 14, and yeah. Wow. But we met Ingrid.
Yeah, I know. I was watching.
Oh man,
She was cool.
the most coldest place, but
Warm.
our house and everything was like, you know, the most beautiful so far. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And the house and for food,
Yeah.
you know, and or the how she was putting the fire, not fire, just this candle.
Uh-huh.
You know that we know where is she, that we know where to come in, where to park. You know, we just know it. That must be it. And it was, yeah.
Yeah, she sounds like,
Like
a
a fairy
wonderful,
tale, you know,
a wonderful
this-
hostess.
Yeah, not in the city. It was out of the city. So
Well, I said to Anders in a message, because I hooked up with him on Facebook. I said one of the regrets I had was not being able to say hello and thank you.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
sounds like Ingrid was someone I would have enjoyed to have met too. So
For
thanks,
sure.
Ingrid, for your contribution.
Anders, of course.
Yeah,
He's the man.
Yeah.
He's the man.
yeah. Well, there's 3 or 4 people. I mean, loads of people make contributions, but
Yeah,
there's 3 or 4 people.
Every penny was
Yeah,
counting,
yeah.
like we said, because we struggled like 4 times. We were on the edge to close the deal, or we just didn't see it
Yeah.
forward because, you know. So yeah, it was struggling. It wasn't. So every penny counts.
Yeah.
Every penny
Oh,
was counting. So
every £2, every
I
pound.
say everyone who donated in every way, it will be rewarded. It will be rewarded. For sure.
Yeah,
Because
so-
this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, humanity needs this. Humanity needs this to happen. I think so, and we've got to continue to find ways of doing that. And those who can support in that kind of way, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you all.
So there you go. What a legend you are, my friend.
You are a legend. You all are more legendary. I was just behind the computer,
No,
man, 4 or
no,
5
no,
years.
no.
Nothing
Yeah.
to do. I couldn't
Yeah.
do nothing.
Yeah.
You all did
Yeah.
for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
all did.
Yeah.
You all struggled. You all fight. You all want to spread this information. You know. I didn't.
But when
So
the
my
when the
time is
moment came,
now.
you seized it
Yeah.
and you did
So I
fantastic.
have it 3 months. So
Fantastic.
I got a little more, I think.
You still got more energy,
in
yeah.
myself that I can spread it a little more.
You heard it, yeah.
So, oh yeah.
This man will go on and
For
on.
sure.
And on
Just
and
tell
on.
me that Adam will also come, because Adam, I'm waiting for.
I think, unfortunately, Adam's not going to be able to make it today. I think I know that I heard Jason say the other day that he thought he was still coming, but Adam sent me a message saying, you know, he's got so much, like all of us, he's got so much of his own stuff going on at the moment. I think getting down here today was going to be difficult. So unless he's going to blow a surprise on me and he was misleading me, I don't think he's.
I hope.
I don't think he's going to be able to make it. So.
Yeah, okay.
But we love you, Adam, and we love your contributions
Oh yeah.
to the tour.
my man. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
From
Yeah.
every point.
yeah,
Special man.
yeah.
And Lee, I want to see Lee.
Lee should be, yeah. I think Lee will
Should be. Lee should come.
But he might be late, you know,
Yeah.
as is the way.
It doesn't matter. Just to come. Come
La,
on, Lee.
La terra è piatta. Earth is flat. The Earth is flat, water is level. NASA is faking space. NASA never went to the moon. NASA cannot get into outer space. Outer space is a figment of your imagination created by science fiction. It's not real. Water is level. You cannot have a vacuum and a non-vacuum side by side. Outer space is fake, fake, fake. Water is level, my friends. The sea is level. You could not live on a marble. You cannot live on a globe. How can you walk underneath a globe? Think about it. How can a ship be held to the underside of a globe? Impossible. Impossible, my friends. Water is always level. The sea is always level. Oceans are level. There is only one level on Earth. That is the sea level, we all know. Water is level, Earth is flat. We've been lied to about where we live and who we are. Have you heard this before? Our governments and our science have been misteaching us. Gravity is a religion. There is no force that will hold wet the throat. Water is level, sea is level, government is lying. Your sky. The oceans are level. Float. Rocks will not float. You can say fuck off all you like, my friend, but the truth is that you live on a level plane. You would definitely fall off the underside of your ball. Especially if you weigh as much as that. Water is level, the sea is level, the oceans are level, the earth is flat. The earth is flat and stationary, my friends. You cannot live on a globe. Globes will not hold water to their underside. There is no shape. Water will not cling to the underside of your ball. You believe in magic, my friends. When you were children, you were lied to about where you live, and you still believe that today. Go test it for yourself. Water is level. The Suez Canal is 120 miles long and level. How could you possibly live on a water ball spinning in space? But for in a cartoon, but for in science.
Mathematicians figured out the Earth's round and their exact circumference within a few feet. Where's the proof? Where's the proof?
Where's your proof? Bring the proof. Bring the science. Barry. My friend Barry.
Just interesting, four young kids looking into it.
Yeah.
He's going to stay in the globe over there.
Hey, Marilyn.
A lot of theatre.
No problem. How are you doing? All right.
Yeah, very well, very well.
Hi, Marilyn. All right, darling. We got to start somewhere.
Nearly 3 months of this.
Oh, well, congratulations. Let me shake your hand.
Yeah.
Let me shake your hand. That's fantastic. Marilyn Wisby, my friends, and John Edgerton, if you don't already know him.
The Earth is round. We see it from space.
Space is fake!
Every day.
Space is fake! Space is fake! Space is science fiction, my friend!
Science fiction, look, you talk rubbish. Trust what you can see. You can see the Earth is round. You can mathematically measure the Earth is round. You believe nonsense.
What formula do you use for measuring the Earth round?
I'm not a mathematician.
No.
But I don't have to be to understand that it's plausible.
You're a believer in religion.
Thank you very much.
NASA have a vacuum chamber that needs 8 feet walls to contain the vacuum. What wall contains the vacuum of space with your atmosphere? The second law of thermodynamics demands that there should be a fixed barrier between a vacuum and a non-vacuum.
You're talking nonsense. The atmosphere is the vacuum. Gravity is what keeps the atmosphere down with the amount of moisture and O2 in the air. You're talking nonsense.
So
it's nonsense. The atmosphere is the air, yes, and gravity keeps it on Earth. No. The reason Earth is round is because of gravity.
How do you prove gravity?
Idiots.
Sir, gravity is a theory.
Look,
Gravity is a theory.
Density.
Density and buoyancy, my friend. Density and buoyancy. Density and buoyancy. Why? Because your hat falls to the floor, it makes the Earth round? Of course not, my friends. We know for sure that water is level. The Suez Canal, 120 miles long, provably level. provably level, 120 miles long. We can fire lasers across any distance you like, and we will always find water to be level. Simply because something falls to the floor does not mean you can live on a ball.
I'm sorry, my friend, but look, if I go like this and I put water in here,
Contain, yes,
stop my hand.
it's contained. You've contained the water. Water must be contained. Water must be contained. Well, your belief in gravity, my friends, is nothing more than a religious belief in scientism that you cannot prove for yourself. You have to take from the scientists and take their word that you live on a ball. You can't prove that. Don't. Do the research yourself. Do the research yourself. That's all we're asking. They say 8 inches in the mile squared is how much our Earth is bending. We've tried to measure it. We can't find it. I offer you the opportunity to do it yourself. They say a ship goes over the horizon at 3 miles. We can take a powerful camera and see that ship for 20 miles. Water is always level. A lake, I can see across a lake, 10 miles, I can see the beach on the other side. They say at 10 miles, that should be 60 feet down. Don't do the maths, go and check your science. Most science that you believe in today is science fiction. The truth is that water is always going to find its level at rest. Water will always find its level. Water will not conform to the outside of a shape. That's a matter of fact. That's a matter of fact. We've been lied to, my friends. You don't know who you are until you realize how much we've been lied to. NASA is faking space. Let me show you this t-shirt, young man. NASA never went to the moon. They are lying to you about who you are and where you are. NASA lied about the moon landings, and they are lying about the International Space Station. They are faking the International Space Station on a CGI, on an aeroplane, and they do their spacewalks in a swimming pool. Why? We can see water bubbles leaving the helmets of the spacewalkers. We can see scuba divers during spacewalks. And they've never done a 360-degree pan on a spacewalk. Never. Put that on your social media. Tell your friends that you've discovered that you might not be living on a ball. In fact, we know rocks cannot float. Rocks will fall to the floor. There is only one floor, one up, one down. All of our science today is like a religion. A belief in gravity is worse than a belief that man can walk on water. Honestly, I have been looking at this for 4 years, and I can assure you that if I was wrong, I wouldn't be here sharing this information with you today. There are 203 of a ball. Is gravity that clever that it can form a lake in Australia upside down, while all lakes must be contained? All water must be contained. What is gravity?
So that's why. So each around the edge of the Earth, gravity's pulling to the centre of the Earth.
Okay, that's a theory.
Well,
so, because like the man just did just now when he drops his hat, theoretical science. Yeah, but I mean, there's a theory that says that.
They believe in ghosts. There's theories that ghosts are real.
No, I'm not believing in theories. No. You're believing in theories, my friend. I don't give those theories any credence anymore. I spent my entire adult life believing in these theories and looking for life on Mars.
Yeah.
Now I know that these are just ideas, and these are ideas designed to make you small. They are ideas designed to make you believe in evolution, to make you think that you merely come from some lucky explosion and that some jism of biology occurred billions of years ago on this planet, and from that came us. What if I was to say that you were the creator of this place, or you are connected to the creator of this place, and you are meant to be a divine soul here on a rich experience?
Here, away from the actual point. What about the edge of flat Earth? You believe flat Earth. So the edge of the Earth, why is no one falling off the edge? Why is water not falling off the edge?
Could I say gravity? If you're allowed to say that water won't fall off the side of a ball because of gravity, can I have that too?
Why no one come to the edge? That's surface tension.
Yeah. Surface tension?
Yeah.
Surface tension of what?
Yeah.
You say the water falling off a bowl, if the surface tension is what keeps the water
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of surface tension beyond a water droplet?
Yeah, like
bigger than a water droplet.
Yeah, so in like a lake,
yeah,
spiders can run across the water, like almost like walking on water, because of the surface tension of the water.
Okay, a spider can walk on a flat surface. But that doesn't mean. But that's a long way. Yeah. Okay. And I'll leave this. But that doesn't mean. But that's a long way. Yeah. Okay. And I'll even give you that the sides of a lake may have like a bit of a meniscus, and we call that waves. We call that a little bit of wave at the edge of the lake. I'll give you that. But actually, over the distance, say 10 miles or 20 miles, that lake will be provably level.
Yeah. Well, water always wants to try and level.
Absolutely. And if Earth is 70% water, at what point does that level body of water start to become magically rounded? People say because I can drop my hat on the floor, the apple to the floor, I can use the word gravity to explain how things that you and I can't test for ourselves will happen. Your can, for example, I'll give you two things about that can. One, the drink inside of that can must be contained, otherwise it will spill to the floor. If I poured that can of that drink on the outside of the can, it would immediately run off. Yes, the can may stay wet, but the bulk of the water will fall off. Firstly. Secondly, to keep the pressure of the gaseous drink inside of that, it has to be contained. The moment you crack that lid, there was a depressurization. Well, if we lived on a globe that was in the vastness of a dark vacuum, a massive, huge vacuum, what would be stopping the vacuum just immediately drawing off and equalizing the pressure of our atmosphere? Again, the hat dropping on the floor or the apple dropping on the floor.
The argument is the atmosphere is what's keeping it all in. Well, the argument is gravity. So you're talking about the water leveling itself out. If you believe, as I do, that the gravity is in the centre of the Earth and is pulling equally all the way around, the water's trying to level itself out in relation to that. That's the argument.
Okay. So I used to think that too, right? So I'm 50, and I used to think that for most of my life. But then I discovered that there's a formula for this bending of water. Yeah. So if we live on a marble, a round spheroid or oblate spheroid, as they say, then there's a formula for measuring the roundness of the water, because eventually the water must show some rotundity. You know, beyond a little bit of surface tension, it's actually got to go around. It's actually got to go round and down and under and back up the other side, right? That's a ball.
See,
we understand that.
I see it as an under. That's the thing. I think because we're in space, there's no north, there's no south. In space is a complete. You don't have like an up or a down.
Okay, so NASA provide us with comic strip images of the Earth in space. So if I can ask you to call that picture up to your mind, you would know that when you look at the Earth from space, it's a ball.
Yeah.
Right? So on that ball, there are people on the top of it, and there are people on the underside of it.
Who decides what the top and the bottom
Well,
is?
that's a good question. For me, on this Earth, there is only one up. There's only one top. But this is it. There is only one surface.
Oh, I see.
You see, there's only one. Think about it. Like if I was to say, take a lake of say 100 miles, right? Lake, and I was to put some big rocks in the center of that lake and say those were my continents. Yeah, that would be what I would argue is my model of how Earth might look, simplistically speaking.
What's difficult for me? Say if you went in the plane now and you went directly this way in the plane constantly, eventually you'd end up back here.
Okay, but so
if I went straight in the plane and went straight for like 48 hours in the plane, eventually you'd come back round.
Okay.
So if it's sort of a flat thing, how would it account for that?
Well, if Trafalgar mice imagine and I was to travel in an eastwards direction, my compass would constantly correct itself so that I could go around the neighborhood and come back the other side. So that's how, and there's lots of pilots who
physically driving straight, but you think you would just kind of curve.
Well, great circle routes. So they're in their minds, they're not expecting to fly in a straight line. They have to make course corrections for what's called the great circle route. But what if that great circle route correction is simply doing exactly what I've just described, which is they fly on headings. What they'll do is they'll fly for an hour in this direction, make a course correction, but they're thinking that doing something to take the shortest route around the globe. But what if I'm just simply going around the neighborhood? Okay. So that's how we explain that. And there's plenty of pilots who, after having this explained to them, have gone, yeah, shit. One, I never see any curvature. Two, I never dip my nose to allow for ever going down like that. Once I hit 30,000 feet, my nose has to stay slightly 1.5, 2 degrees up. Otherwise, I'll fall. And I'll stay like that for hours until I get to my destination. So I come back to the point is that if I was actually flying around a globe like this, my gyroscope would let me know that I was going off my original center, my original level. It would say, oh, look, you're dropping away from your original horizon. But yes, that's fine because I'm going underneath the globe. But now we've never, and it should be quite easy for a guy like Richard Branson, all these billionaires to go, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go in at 0 and come out at 180 or 270 and come out at 90 and do that kind of thing. Never done that. So if we truly lived on a globe, that would be something that people would do quite often. In fact, you would probably fly from South America to Australia underneath, but they never go lower than 70 south. And the Antarctic Treaty never allows dudes like you and me to go lower than 60 south of the parallel of equator. So we can't really test this out for ourselves. And it does beg the question whether they're not hiding an awful lot of something from us.
Why would they be hiding it?
Well, no, when I said, this is the big question, why would they do that? And why would they have invented religions? There's a dude selling.
I guess that's a fair question. Like, why, if it is correct, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it being ground. So why is it?
Why would they be hiding it? Why would we be upset about that? So why would they? What's the?
Well, I mean, the simple answer is
discovery. Like, Earth is flat.
Okay.
What's
Well, why did they? Yeah. Well, why did they give up on? Because all ancient cosmologies 1,000 years ago, 600-700 years ago, everybody said that the Earth was flat. Everybody.
So there was suddenly a change somehow at some point in time.
Yeah. And I pin it on the Vatican. That's my point. My starting point. The Vatican has given us our universities, our education system. They also invented the ball. They invented the Big Bang theory. And they're right in the whole gravity story is all connected to the Vatican. We know that the Vatican hides a lot of information from us. And unless you're into the Roman Catholic religion, you'll probably think that the Roman Catholic religion is partly mind control and partly about maintaining some kind of control over the human population. These guys here are selling Islam over here, and if you're into Christianity, you'll probably say that they're somehow misled and they're somehow teaching something wrong. Well, I say the science teachers have been taught something that was also wrong, just like them. These guys truly believe in what they're selling. But I don't think that that's necessarily right. Well, we come now. Well, the first answer for the motive is control. But for me, as I started going off on a tangent, is to diminish your experience here, diminish the human experience. So I say to people, this has been my journey from an atheist 5 years ago, by the way, atheist, believer in Mars as a planet, believer in moon as a rock. And believer that there might even be aliens out there, and a believer and hoping that they would find life on some of these planets. That's what I really wanted. My dying mother couldn't get me to accept that. Mars is a light, and from the best that we can observe, it's just kind of light going through. So it's a red light, and it's going through some sort of cyclical pattern, almost like a sonoluminescence. If you look into
at night when you look up at the stars, are you seeing other stars there? Or are you
stars? I see other lights in the sky. Not. And I no longer see gas giants that are burning helium and hydrogen and all this forever and ever and billions of years of that. No, I don't see that.
What about
the sun? Now we're getting into theory here because I don't know what the sun is anymore. I used to think that it was what I just described.
So if it's
now,
not a star, that's important.
Now I see it as
Are we getting sort of how do solar panels work?
Yeah, I mean, so we think I think that this is an electromagnetic universe, and we are electromagnetic torus beings, energy systems, and we're connected to a much greater electromagnetic torus system. I think the sun is like a positive energy, and the moon is like a negative or cold light. They're independent of each other. The sun is like the masculine energy, and the Vatican wants everybody to worship the sun, that sun, because the Vatican is like a male-centric a system. That's why it's all about men only, and there's only in the darkness of that. Whilst the moon is the feminine energy, which is why the moon matches the lady's female cycle of 28. And if a lady, if she's in touch with nature, her own natural body cycle will be in line with the moon. Many women will talk about this, as a matter of fact. So I think that the moon and sun are electromagnetic points of light or energy centers. Yes, the sun gives us our day, and the moon is for lighting the night, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. But coming back to the why, I really think I had a DMT experience, ayahuasca, 4 years ago, and for me that was where I went from atheist to oh my God, I'm connected to something much higher than me, something much more powerful. So when I had the DMT experience, everything that I could see, I was totally awake, totally with it. I wasn't stoned, wasted, tripping, acid, whatever. No, I was totally awake, and everything that I could see, people and the space around me, turned to waves, electromagnetic waves. So I think that we're part of some sort of electromagnetic system. I think that some dark entity, dark energy, we can debate about what that is. Some people say devil, some people say it's just man, greedy man, or whatever. It doesn't really matter to me, but some dark entity has taken control of the human story over the last 500 years. has controlled our minds, has given us our education, has given us religions, and if you don't like religion, it's given you this religion of gravity, relativity.
Only the past 5
Okay? And when ancient cosmologies, whether it be the Vedic, the Nordic, the Hebrew, doesn't matter. They all talked about a flat world, sort of somehow enclosed, a pressure system created for us. You know, when I believed in the universe as this Big Bang experience, then I thought that we were very insignificant, we were low on the pecking order, and that we were merely evolved from the apes, evolved from the Darwinian story.
That's exciting, though, isn't it? Like, imagine if it was true. Imagine, as I believe, that we are a tiny speck in
Yes.
a vast universe.
Yeah.
Imagine what we could see in the future, or what awaits us, and how much learning we've still got to do, and how much there's still to discover. Like, you could perceive it as like trying to lower our expectations, but it also could be like, wow, like we've got this whole universe, like there's so much still to learn, there's so much still to know. And you could look at it from a more positive angle and say, hey, look, like we know so little and we've got so much still to learn. That's almost like motivational for some people, like to say, wow, like there's all these other things.
Okay, well, my wife for 2 years, she said it doesn't matter. What difference does it make whether the earth is a ball or a flat? Well, firstly, if it didn't matter, they wouldn't have gone to all this trouble to bullshit us. Secondly, for me, I realized really for the first time in my life how important this journey was. And as I said, I'm middle-aged 50-year-old guy, and I thought, oh well, there's no real purpose to this world. We'll leave it to the scientists to eventually get us to Mars, or wait for the UFOs or the aliens to kind of come and tell us how they seeded us or how simple we are and all that kind of thing, when in fact we're meant to be at the pinnacle. And I with respect say to us, to humankind now, that we are never been dumber, we've never been simpler. When you look around, I've been on a tour of about 30 cities in Europe over the last month and a half, and with some of my friends here, and the buildings in Europe and here in London are absolutely phenomenal, the construction. But these are buildings built with people who had no mechanical means for building. They had no computers for aiding them. They had none of the stuff that we have today, and yet they build on a size and on a nature of grandeur way beyond what we do today. And people say, oh, we don't care for that. Well, if we were that advanced, if we were that clever, if we were that able, then I would say to you that we would do much better than that.
True, they didn't build rockets and spaceships.
Neither do we. I think what our rockets are helium balloons, and when you watch a NASA launch with critical eyes now, you see that actually it goes up for about 10 miles, 20 miles, and then it starts to do this. And we suggest that what's happening is...
orbit,
Well, that's what we are told. I used to believe that too. Okay, now it's going into orbit. What they've never done is they've never taken a camera from takeoff into outer space. They've never achieved that. They've never taken one unbroken bit of footage into that. And as I said to other people earlier on, they've never taken a camera on a spacewalk or on the moon and done a 360 pan. They've never taken a camera and done that. They've never taken a spacesuit into a vacuum chamber on Earth with a man in it. Never. Now, can you imagine, same with the lunar lander. They never got the lunar lander to work here on Earth. There's no footage of it, and they admit that. We never got it to work, but we knew that once we got to the moon, there'd be less gravity to worry about, so it would be much easier. Well, they never get it to work, and they never take a spacesuit into a vacuum chamber with a man in it. But when you watch them doing the training for the ISS, the International Space, when you watch them doing the training, they do it in a swimming pool. Right, in America, they do it in a big swimming pool.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you see them, we've got to go in a minute. But when you see them in the ISS and they are floating around, So is the argument that they've somehow adopted that?
Yes. So did you see the movie?
Good,
well, did you see that Sandra Bullock movie, Gravity?
Yeah.
Why couldn't they do the same to you? And yes, it is a lot of effort. But what about these religions? It's a lot of effort. If they're not true either, that's a lot of effort, and they've got billions of people believing in it. Right?
Elon Musk ones, Elon Musk is
listening.
Those have got, I mean, I don't know if it's a continuous thing, but they've got all kinds of cameras on them now.
Yeah.
And you can see, I think of one, the guy that did the jump, what's his name?
Felix Baumgartner,
When I saw that, you can very much see a curvature. Again,
Have you heard of Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah.
So he's on record saying that the reason that it looked like it's curved is because they used a fisheye lens, and at 125,000 feet or 130,000 feet, you're not high enough to see the curvature of the Earth, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson. So when you go back and watch the Felix Baumgartner jump, you'll notice that on the cameras that are on the outside, on the cameras on the outside, it looks like it's curved, but when he opens his cupola door and you see from the camera behind him, it's super level like this. So we've been taking hot air weather balloons up to 120,000 feet, and what do we find? Level. The first man to get to 10 miles in height was a guy called Picard. They took Jean-Luc Picard from the Star Trek and all that. They took his name, but this guy called Picard went up to 10 miles and he said, when I got there, it looks flat to me. The Earth looks absolutely flat from 10 miles higher. So deGrasse Tyson says you can't see curvature. I think that guy is the highest. Felix Baumgart, it's the highest any man has been, actually. The idea that we're actually out there doing these things, people have shredded the NASA stuff apart. If you go and type in NASA onto YouTube, NASA hoax and stuff like that, watch
the moon stuff.
I mean, the moon stuff is what got me started was a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. That documentary of NASA's own footage showing how they were faking the being halfway between the Earth and the moon, that was a start for me. But if you go and look at the ISS stuff now, how there's bubbles leaving the helmets while they're on a spacewalk. One time a scuba diver is caught reflected in the visor during a spacewalk. As I said, they've never taken they've never done 360 during a spacewalk. There's even pictures of their harnesses sometimes snagging, because they do three different things with your mind. One is they'll put people on a harness and make it seem like when Tim Peake went, I'd only just discovered this when Tim Peake went. So I put it on my big screen at home and I watched the interview with Channel 4. It's still on YouTube, I think. And you can see it 2 minutes and 12 in the video. That's when he does his, I'm not very good at this, but I've been practicing. And you see the man almost falling. You see his neck veins popping out. And you can see he's wearing like some kind of nappy. And I say to my friends at the time who were still talking to me before I was like banging this hard, I was like, look, there's the harness. You can see it in his trousers, like he's in a circus act. That's the first thing. The second thing is that they use the Vomit Comet, the zero-G plane, so they get a 30, 45 seconds shot where they can just, and then at the end of the day, they'll stitch 5 or 6 of those and go, look, we've got an unbroken set. Because, what they do is they can create one of those planes to look like, if you think about it, the ISS looks like, on the inside, looks like an inside of a 747 with some panels and stuff like that.
Even gravity, then?
No,
because the way the Vomit Comet works is because it's because of gravity.
Yes, I think that I believe
it's
it.
descending faster,
Okay.
and then we're losing.
Before people were talking about gravity, they used to talk in terms of buoyancy and density. So something is either more buoyant or less buoyant than the surrounding environment. So you and I are standing firm now, but if we filled Leicester Square with water, we would float against gravity. But we would float less if it was clear water. And question. So we always have, if I lift up the apple, like they use the apple because you never think about the apple being lifted by the tree, but the tree has to lift the apple droplet by droplet from the ground, and eventually when the apple's ripe and ready, it falls back to the earth. If I pick up your can, I'm imparting what's the second law or the first law of I forget now, but if I pick something up, I'm imparting energy to it. And when it drops down, it's only expressing the returning of that energy. Is there an electrostatic force around us? Yes, I think so. Like when you rub your hair and there's an electrostatic force and stuff like that. I think there's an electromagnetic force. We used to call it the ether, but the ether was banished because it messed with Einstein's relativity theory. So back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, the best scientists in the world were using a machine called the interferometer. And they used the interferometer to try and prove that the Earth was moving, or it was the ether or the air that was moving around us, or the roof that was moving around us. And they've hidden that experiment. And they've gotten rid of the ether to say, ether's not a thing. So I think that there is an electrostatic force. But like these leaves, for example, leaves will fall to the ground, and if gravity was real, it would continue pulling that leaf to the ground because it's strong enough to pull a ship to the underside of the ball.
But obviously, it can't pull it any deeper because this surface is so...
No. But if you look at this leaf here, you'll see that leaf there is only some of it's touching the ground. Why isn't the rest of this leaf being pushed?
Because it's so... It's such a small...
It still has its own rigidity, doesn't it? It has its own strength. But let's say...
It's so light, the force and gravity is very light on it.
Okay.
They're heavy, so the force and gravity is heavy on
This guy before me.
Okay. Now, one last thing before you go. It has been a pleasure talking to you, but if gravity is pulling that leaf to the ground right now, and let's say it's pulling a ship to the top of a lake or whatever, or the bottom or to the ground, to the
gravity's
center.
trying to pull the ship down, but the volume of the water and the air inside the ship is keeping it.
Okay, well that would be the buoyancy. Yeah. Now, when we go back, we zoom back to the moon and we're looking at the Earth. And imagine like the ISS. They've never done this, but imagine the ISS could film a ship sailing, say, in Australia underneath us, right? Is gravity more powerful then than it was when the ship was in England on top of the ball? Work that out.
Gravity is more powerful.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like if I was a ship on the top of a ball, I'd need only a little bit of buoyancy to float. But if I was a ship on the underside of the ball, I'd need a huge amount of force to pull that from dropping down.
I guess I don't see top and bottom.
Yeah, but
with my theory of the globe, I don't see there being a top of the earth and a bottom kind of thing, because we're all being drawn into the central. So no matter where you are in the world, you're always at the top. We're always on the top.
We're always on the top. Now you got to know, for me, my friend, what's your name?
Ollie.
I'm Dave. But for me, that sounds like a flat Earth. If you think about it, if everything's always on the top, and then isn't that a flat Earth?
Well, I'd say that this is a flat surface, like all the way around. It's not bent. It's just as you experience it, every point at which you experience it seems flat.
Okay, so if you and I were experiencing the top here and it seemed flat, would your friends who had gone, say, 90 degrees around but would they not be on the side of it? Like in Brazil, say.
In their world,
they're also on the top. That's the magic. Okay, so go away with this number in your head. They tell us that if we live on a ball, or if your can was the Earth, that there's a curvature for that, right? There's a measurement, there's a formula you can apply to say, if I move from this point to that point, I'm going to have gone down a certain amount. And because we have a radius of 4,000 miles on our supposed globe, you're meant to go down at 8 inches per mile squared, which means that over 10 miles, it's 60 foot down, and over 100 miles, it's 6,000 feet of downness that your ship and what have you. And eventually, say when you get to Australia, you will have gone all the way down and around. So to then play mental gymnastics with yourself to say, no, they're still back on the level, and gravity doesn't have to do anything special to kind of prevent them from falling off the deck of the ship or the ship falling into outer space. That's the magic. And we were all given that when we were 6 years old. And we cling to that. We let go of Santa comes down the chimney, but we cling to that because it is banged into your head forever and a day. And when the teacher says gravity is this bucket, gravity holds like this bucket spinning above my head. And when I was a kid, I said to the teacher, well, look, you're using a string and you're using a bucket. Gravity is neither of those things, neither the string nor the bucket. It's just an apple falling to the floor. And now I'm meant to believe that if an apple fell to the floor in Australia, it wouldn't carry on down, it would pull back up relative to where I'm standing. It's magic, Ollie. It's magic. So there's plenty of stuff. I mean, YouTube is riddled with debunked videos, so it's hard to find good information.
It's hard to know. It's very difficult to know. You can find arguments either way.
So Astronauts Gone Wild is a good documentary to start with, because it's like if you and I had been to the moon and we were the first men on the moon, our interview when we got back would be one of whoop whoop, we've just won Formula 1 times 10, right? When you see the interview with those three guys who were the first men on the moon, they're guilty, they look nervous, their answers don't make sense, all of that sort of stuff, right? That's it. And then a guy called Bart Sibrel offers 10 of those first astronauts a Bible and says, for $5,000 to your favorite charity, just put your hand on the Bible, swear you went to the moon. Not one of them does it. And two of them, one kicks him in the butt, another punches him, Buzz Aldrin punches him, and Neil Armstrong says, knowing you, Mr. Sibrel, that's probably not a real Bible, so I refuse to do it. And I'd say, I don't care what religion you believe in, bring me any book you like. I would put my hand on that Bible and give £5,000 to my favorite charity, please. I would do that. Right. Astronauts Gone Wild. Start with that, and 200 proofs Earth is not a ball. That's another good place to start.
Thank you very much.
All the best, guys. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you.
Good listening to you talk today. I haven't really got much to contribute, but it's just like good listening to your conversations.
Cool. Well, that was a great one.
I'm with you, 100%.
Cool. What's your name?
No arguments. Tim.
Tim, I'm Dave.
Yeah, you've been pointed out to me by Paul, but it's nice to meet you.
Likewise, Tim. Oh, well, that was fun, friends. I hope you enjoyed that. 40 folks in the chat, so that was cool. I'll get into the chat in a little while. I need to go and get some water for my throat. I'm a little bit parched. Tim.
Mighty Atom.
Oh, lovely to meet you. Really nice to meet you.
My name's Dean, sorry.
Dean.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Okay,
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said Mighty Adam because I know who you are.
Yeah, I can see the flesh.
Can I have a sip of your coffee, Dean?
I bought.
I'm just very dry.
Chocolate.
Oh, is that hot chocolate?
Well, hot chocolate or coffee?
No, coffee if you've got it.
Yeah, have that one there, then, mate.
I'll just have a sip. I don't need the whole thing.
Dave, have it. I'll put two, yeah.
Oh, fuck me, that's hot. That's nice. Yeah, I just had a great conversation with Ollie and his girlfriend. Oh, and his
That's a
friend.
little man when he wakes up. Couple of sugars there, mate.
That's fine. Let me just check on.
So much sparkling for me.
We're in Leicester Square, friends. This is Leicester Square. The Earth, my friends, is flat. The Earth is flat. You've been lied to by your government, your science. There is no way that water will form to the outside of a ball and rocks will not float in space. Gravity is designed to hoax your mind, to make you small and get you believing in something that is not true. The Earth, my friends, is flat. Do your own research. I'm not asking you to believe anything. I'm asking you to forget your belief. Let go of your religious belief. My throat is a bit scratchy. Earth is flat, my friends. We've been lied to. Oh, cheers, Mike. Thanks, buddy. That was a really good conversation just now with Ollie. One for the book. This is having a quick chat. Let's have it.
Would you like to talk about the flight time?
Oh, my friend, I'm Dave. My name's Dave. What's your name?
Alex.
Alex. My son is Alexander, actually.
Oh, right,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Are you Alexander? Or just Alex?
Alex. Yeah.
Do you mind if I carry on filming? I'm streaming live on YouTube.
Oh, right, that's okay.
44 people. 44, that's a good number. Apparently that's a God number.
Right,
Jesus
okay.
number. Alex. Are you? Have you come across this before?
I've come across like the idea of flat Earth.
We all did when we were young. In school, they kind of said people used to believe the Earth was flat and you could fall off the edge.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you have to come up with sort of justification for the theory that the world is flat, you know. So it's interesting, you know. You know, you can fly to New Zealand in either direction, you know, when you go on holiday. So it's kind of interesting that you know, and you could like I flew to New Zealand one time and I stopped off in America and in Hawaii and Easter Island, and then on to New Zealand. But I've also flown to New Zealand in the opposite direction. Okay. Have you looked at the flat Earth projection at all to see how that might be possible? Or well, the flight times don't really make sense. Because, for example, you can fly from Chile to Sydney in something like 14 hours.
Yeah.
So how can you fly that so quickly if they're so far away on the flat Earth projection?
Let me start from the first thing you said, which was, you know, the theory of the flat Earth. For me, what I've been trying to do is unpick the theory of the globe and the theory
I'm more
of
interested
gravity.
in the theory of the
I'll get.
flat Earth.
I'm going to get
It
that.
has to be justified. you
Okay.
know.
Okay. So, a couple of things that I can't be sure of is that the engines that they use in some of these planes may not always be the same. So the flying speed might be told to us as, say, 500 miles an hour, but how do we know that they haven't reverse engineered a Concorde type engine into some planes and that they can fly a lot faster? So it's for me, the questions about flight routes and stuff like that is more a little bit more beyond the first points of contact, which is firstly that water we know is always level.
But for me, the first point of contact basically is flight times, because that's the thing I'm interested in. Because as somebody who likes to go on holiday, likes to travel around the world, you know, if the world's flat, then that doesn't tie in with my experience.
Okay,
you know?
so if the Earth was a globe, now I'll go back to the Earth being a globe. If it was a globe, then if I was flying from Sydney to Chile, for example, a quicker route would be to go underneath the globe. Actually, the quickest route would be underneath the globe, but actually we've never flown underneath the globe. We've never gone in at a 0 and come out at 180. So you're aware of that?
But Santiago to Chile, you can do that flight in 14 hours, but then go in the opposite direction. You can do Santiago to Cape Town and then Cape Town to Australia. You can fly in that direction as well.
Yes.
That's it takes longer, but not that much longer. So the world being round would explain that, but does the world being flat explain that?
Well, yeah, we can get to that. I can get to that. But if the world is round and spinning, okay, it's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, they say. Let me make this point, if I may.
All right, okay.
It's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, okay, west to east.
Yes.
Right? So if I'm flying and I leave the ground, my plane leaves the ground, would I need to be flying? Would it take me longer if I was flying with the spin of the Earth, or would it be much quicker if I was to fly against the spin of the Earth? You see, because could you imagine if
does the flat Earth? How does the flat Earth theory tie up with this? Because the globe theory does explain why flight times are what they are, whereas the flat Earth theory doesn't really.
Have you?
do that.
Because
on the map, on the flat map.
Yes. The United Nations logo projection.
Yeah,
that one.
You got South America being so far away from Australia. How can this be such a short flight? How can that be a 14-hour flight? That's just.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I mean, they never used to fly because I'm from South Africa. They never used to fly a direct flight from South Africa to Australia. You always had to fly up into Dubai. Right. And then down and do a dog's leg rather than fly this way. However, now today you can, for a lot more money, you can take a direct flight between the two. Yeah. And what I'm contending is that they're using perhaps an engine that gives them a much quicker plane. That would be my suggestion to you.
Do you have any
Alex?
proof for that?
No, I don't have any proof of that. But I'm not necessarily trying to. I'm not necessarily trying to bang home that. When we there's a guy who called I forget his channel name, but he's done a book. He's written a book on how there are 20 flights where there's been 20 emergency landings through recorded history, which support this model. Where, for example, someone flying from let me finish. Someone flying from South America to Australia has had a baby, a child, and they've had to do a emergency landing, and they've landed in Alaska. Which, when you look at this, it's like, yeah, they're flying in a straight line. This same was true with the flight between Cape Town and Australia. Is that Dubai is almost in a straight line, so it kind of makes sense that if they're not looking to waste fuel, assuming they're using fuel, they're not looking to waste fuel, so they're going to fly the straightest line possible. But now I want to come back to, because this is what we never get to think about, is that if I left the surface of a train, for example, I'm standing on the roof of a train, right? Let me make this point to you, Alex. Allow me to make this point, because it's the globe that really should come under scrutiny. We can theorize all day about how this is working, but we'll never get to an exact answer. Even in the flat Earth community, there are people who say this isn't the right projection. So I can't answer all of those questions for you. But I want to bring you back to your own common sense. Your common sense says that if you were standing on the top of a speeding car or a speeding train, on the roof of that train, and you were to jump up, the atmosphere would push you backwards along the train, wouldn't it? So if we were to leave the surface of the Earth, and they say that science says that the atmosphere is moving with us, right? Yeah. So the ground here is moving at 600 miles an hour here in England, there or thereabouts, although you and I can't detect that. And as I get higher into the air column above me, the air is moving faster and faster, because the air column is staying in line with me above my head, right? That's what mainstream science says. So if the air column is moving at 650 miles an hour above my head, and a plane leaves the ground and has to fly against that, and against the spin of the Earth, why doesn't that have a significant impact on the flight times? In fact, most planes can't even fly at the speed that we're meant to be spinning at, Alex. So how do you answer that?
How does flat Earth solve those problems?
No. I'm not looking to solve that problem. I'm asking you, how does your ball
I don't have a theory.
Well, I would suggest to you, that, with respect, Alex, that these are the things that we've never checked for ourselves. Because I'm 50, right? I'm 51 years old, and 40 I came across this theory, the formula for the curvature of Earth.
No, but
right?
I have flown around the world.
Oh yeah.
And
there's plenty of pilots who say that the Earth is flat. There's plenty of pilots, international pilots. So that's not hard to address.
But if you can't explain the flight times, if you can't explain why it takes so much longer from here to Australia than Santiago, Chile to Australia, when they're on the flat map, they're so much further apart. Then and the only theory you come up with to explain that is that the airplanes have different kind of motors, engines in them. But do you have any evidence for that? If you had that evidence, then you could convince a lot of people. But without the evidence, your case isn't really convincing.
Okay. Well, I'm not looking to convince you on that. I'm looking to remind you that you don't know, or rather, we can't measure water curving over any distance, right? So if we live on a ball, as they say, then the water is meant to be curving at 8 inches in the mile squared. Can you point to me to any proof that that's actual reality?
But can you point to me any proof about the flat Earth? Because basically,
yes, I can, and I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how. You've asked me a question, and I'm going to give you the answer. They say that our Earth is 70% water. We know that water is always level, and we've done a lot of experiments since we discovered this that show that water bodies always find their level.
But your theory has to be able to explain all the facts.
No, it doesn't. It's only a theory. It doesn't have to explain the fact. But people who believe they live on a ball, as a matter of fact, need to be able to demonstrate, one, that the Earth is spinning, two, that water is going to curve, and water won't curve.
But suppose there's 10 facts that relate.
Fact or theory?
No, 10 facts that relate to your theory. I suppose your theory explains some of those, but not all of them.
Okay.
Then your theory falls apart. Your theory, in order for it to work, has to explain all the facts.
All right. Well, let me say that water is always level. The Suez Canal is 120 miles long.
That's fine.
You don't want to hear this, do you?
No.
The water is always level, my friend.
I don't hear about things that you think you can prove. I want to hear about things that you think you can't prove.
I only exhaust myself trying to theorize with people who've already worked out the basics that they've been bullshitting. You haven't got to that point yet, my friend. So what science experiment do you point to that shows that we're spinning?
Okay, so I mean, basically, I've come back to the flight times because that's one thing I have actually.
That's not an experiment.
Myself.
No, that's not an experiment.
No, but
and as we know with the Concorde, it's very easy to fly faster and slower. So the Concorde.
But you don't have any proof for that, do you?
What?
You don't have any proof that airplanes have different sized engines.
No. Well, they do. I have proof that they have different size engines, and I know for sure that planes can fly at different speeds. That's a matter of fact.
But you don't know that the speeds that planes fly at.
No, I'm offering you a theory.
Right, exactly, theory.
Yeah.
So, you know, were you to come up with some hard evidence for that, then that could be quite convincing.
Okay. How about some hard evidence of your globe spinning? Have you got any of that?
I don't really.
No.
I've never really thought about the globe theory. It explains my experience of traveling around the world.
Okay.
If there was another theory that explained my experience of traveling around the world, then
if we lived on a globe, do you think that the billionaires would not have taken the opportunity to go underneath it, to fly underneath and come out the other side? Do you not think that flight routes would account for that and actually fly the same as we fly over the North Pole, apparently? So why wouldn't we fly under the South Pole to make the shortest route between 2 points? And I think that South America to Australia.
I don't have any experience in it. I'm just talking about my own experience, what I've experienced traveling around the world.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Well, if the world was like a dinner plate, then flying around that would be very easy, right? But if it was a globe, then you've got a whole lot of Occam's razor to account for.
The known facts that I've experienced don't tie up with that theory.
Well, in facts, then physically, in physics, science physics, water has to be contained. Otherwise, it will flow away down to the lowest point where it will pool, and there it will maintain a level. It will find its own level. So all bodies of water on Earth, when they're at rest, are level and must be contained. See, the idea that the water can sit like oceans are sitting on the outside of a ball, that's magic.
Right.
That's magic. You can't prove that. You can't prove that. That's a theory.
The thing is, I don't have to prove it.
No, you just need to believe in it, right? Just like people believe in all their religious stuff.
No,
it is a religion, Alex.
No, you've got your religion, which is the flat Earth religion.
Well, no,
the thing is,
I think flat water. Let's call it the flat water
the reason
belief.
why people
in fact.
the reason why people have a model is to help them understand the universe.
Is there a working model of the globe?
And
No.
for me,
No, there's not.
traveling around the world,
Yeah.
flying around, going
Yeah.
on holiday, going away on business.
Yeah.
The shape of the world being a
Yeah.
globe explains the known facts, whereas the
The
flat
fact
Earth-
of water being level. That's
no,
a fact.
the fact of flight times.
No.
So that explains why it's so much quicker to fly from Santiago.
But what
Chile
you're not
to
allowing
Australia.
into your mind, this is, I think, what's called cognitive dissonance. But what you're not allowing in your mind is that if they've conned us, right, if they've deceived us, then the flight times would need to be scrutinized, and we would need to consider the possibility that
Well,
today they're
maybe
using
they've conned
higher.
you. Maybe they've conned you.
What, that water is a ball? That
No,
water
no,
can
about
form
the
a ball?
flight time.
They did con me about that,
No,
my
they-
friend.
no,
I
hold
used to
on.
believe that
Maybe
water,
they've
that
conned
rocks
you.
could float in
Hold on.
space.
Maybe they've conned you that, aeroplanes have different size engines.
No, that's my
to
own
travel
idea.
at
They
different
haven't conned me of that. They don't want us to know.
right.
They think they want us to believe that all planes are flying at 500 miles an hour. That's what they want us to think. I'm offering you a suggestion as to how this is
But
possible.
you don't have any proof, though.
No,
If you had
no,
proof,
I don't have proof of that.
Exactly. If you had proof, then it would be very convincing.
And do you have proof of any large body of water conforming to the outside of a shape? Evidence of that?
I have my own experience of traveling around.
No,
the
no,
world
no, Alex,
flying.
leave the traveling. God damn, get
no,
off the traveling, my
no,
friend.
no, it's
Look at
important to
water.
me.
Well,
No, it's important to
yeah,
me.
but you say you live on a globe.
My experience.
All right.
I'm not saying I live
All
on a
right.
globe. I'm saying the globe model of the world explains the known facts that I know
Okay.
traveling around the world.
Okay.
The flat map that you've come up with
Yeah.
doesn't explain that. Now,
I
if
never
you-
came up with it, by the way. All ancient cosmologies used to say that this was our map, and the United Nations logo uses the flat Earth map as their flag. By the way,
Fine, but if you
so it's
could-
not mine.
Fine, but if you could do some digging and find out why these flight times don't match the flat map, then I think you might have.
Well,
a
that's
convincing case.
that's my
You
that's
might
my
have a convincing
theory.
case.
But if you're not willing to look at the fact that water must be contained, and when it's contained, it finds a level. If you can't look at that, then
thing
you're not
is-
ready for this.
No. But
So
even
I have to thank you for your time, Alex, but
No,
I
but
can't
this-
help you.
No,
Water is level. Look,
but the
I
flight
found out
times
that there's a
contradicts your
formula.
theory.
Okay. Well,
So-
I don't know that it contradicts the theory, but it does require certain,
Exactly.
explanations.
So-
and I'm not sure that I'm ever going to satisfy you.
Well,
but
no.
but they tell me,
It would be
science
easy for you
science
to
tells
prove
me that
about
we live on a
aeroplane
globe.
speeds.
Hear me out. Science tells me that we live on a globe 24,900 miles in circumference, right? That's what science says. And in order to live on a globe, you have to have an amount of rotundity, amount of roundness, because eventually that globe is going to go underneath itself and come up the other side. Now, you can measure, according to Pythagoras and AutoCAD, you can measure the amount of curvature.
I know.
You don't want to hear this, I know, but it's 8
No.
inches in the mile squared, which means over 10 miles, it's
Fine.
60 foot, and over 100 miles, your plane has to dip. When you go flying,
you
your
put
plane
a
has
lot
to
of
dip
effort into-
6,000 feet.
You put a
Alex,
lot of effort into
your
that.
plane,
but you haven't
when
put
it-
any
when it-
effort into flight times. So the problem is that you have to come up with a theory as to
This, my
why,
friend, is cognitive dissonance. Right here is a friend who is never going to let go
No,
of
this
his
guy
religious beliefs.
is never going to let go of the flight times thing. He's like,
You're
comes
not
up
letting
with
go
a
of the
crazy
flight time
theory.
things. I'm offering you that water is always level.
No, but I'm
No,
thinking
this-
flight times. There's a theory that there's facts that contradict
Help!
your theory.
Help!
What are you going to do when facts contradict your theory?
But no, the facts are contradicting the theory. of the
No,
globe.
they're
The fact is
contradicting the flat
that
Earth
water
theory.
is level.
You have your lovely theory.
Water is level.
You have your lovely theory contradicted by flight time.
Water is always level, the sea is always level, and that means that the earth is one big level lake. Earth is not a ball. NASA is faking space. NASA is constraining your mind and making you small to believe that you are some distance is level. Globes will not float in space. Earth is level. Earth is flat. The earth is flat, my friend. Yes. Come and tell me about it. Man gave me the thumbs up there. The earth is flat. We've been lied to about who we are and where we live. Come and find out some information from my friends about the globe lie. You cannot live on a globe. Who is walking on the underneath of a ball and not falling off, but for the magic of gravity?
How you doing?
How are you doing, Gary John? It's Gary John.
I've had a chat with Andrew, and Alexander's asleep.
Oh, good. I was glad to hear that.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
It seems strange seeing everyone that I've been seeing on TV for a while. That's cool.
It's Gary John. There he is. Receding head. You know who I haven't said hello to is Charlotte. Hi. Good. Good.
Right.
Good, thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to come and say hello to Charlotte. You know, I haven't.
She's around somewhere.
I haven't said hello to her. Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Just over there. That guy.
Oh, it's.
Baby coffee. You know where he is?
Yeah.
Those conversations are annoying. Straight away. I know, I miss it, you know.
Yes.
It's Valencia. The last time we saw these guys.
Yeah,
Valencia. Yeah.
Sounds like a bit of a holiday. Oh, sweet. That's handy.
Oh yeah, we were listening to Adam.
What's his name?
Alex Michael. Yeah, there. Yeah, the flat Earth man. Yes, I have. No, we've spoken. Hey, how are you? Yes, I do. I got it. Thank you. It's been incredible. Wow, it's been good. It's been good. It has been good, and you know the conversations are maturing. So are the trolls types. You know, the people who kind of got it really stuck in their head that all we're trying to bang them into is a theory rather than try to unpick their own beliefs.
Shake and wake.
Shake and wake. Not here to convert, here to alert. That's it.
I smelled some off mine. I didn't bring anything because I feel like a smoke or something.
Well, I wonder if I can give someone my camera to hold while well, we got 50 people in the chat. That's pretty cool. Yes, Gary John. Yes. Seen Gary John. I don't want to end the stream. I should say hello to some folks in the chat. My eyesight, as you know, is not perfect, and I'm pretty bad at wearing my glasses. Let me see if I make. Actually, I need to put a battery on. Do you want to carry a camera for a while? No?
No, it's so restricted, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Gary John. You did a great job over in America getting that contribution.
The guys over there were fantastic.
Yeah.
They literally, I literally was hoping. I was hoping to raise $300, and within literally 2 seconds, 2 lots of people gave me $100 in. I went, wow, and I upped it to $650, $700. It was more than double that. So thank you very much, America, and everyone that was there. It was amazing donation.
That's really hot.
$1,500. Blew me away. It was just, they're so supportive.
Your theory is going to have. It doesn't explain it.
Why? It's only a theory. You don't have to. You see, you don't have to answer everything.
If the theories are
with Alex, can you believe it?
But if theories contradict, if facts contradict your theory, then you have to get a new theory.
Yes. Well, the facts are contradicting the globe. Big time.
They're also contradicting flat Earth.
Which part? Oh, the flight time.
Yeah, flight time. Yeah.
I'm going. You go. Bye. Friends, thanks for stopping by. I lost a lot of people there. My theory is indoctrination. I love that. That's Deborah. Yeah. Can you believe it? Thanks for staying, guys. I'm going to pause the stream. Plague Zero. Well, the thing is that while both streams, Earth is flat, my friends. By you get the satellites apparently go past. No, I think what happens is that the ground towers here have a certain amount of capacity, don't they? And they can become overloaded with the people's activities. And So this leaves us sometimes high and dry and extremists.
Dave, sorry to interrupt you, but a tramp actually peed and it's come down here. And Dave just said, water always finds its level. I said, no, piss. Piss always finds its level. Disgusting. I suppose he's got to go, isn't he?
Well, actually, there was a funny story in Rome. Andrea was sitting in the camper van. Where, you know when Adam got nicked by the old Bill? Yep. She's sitting in the camper van waiting for us all to come back. And a guy, there was some of those big dustbins just in front of the camper van. A guy opens the camper van, the dustbin in front of her, just in front of her. She's looking through the front of the dustbin in front of her, just in front of her. She's looking through the front of the camper van and pulls out a packet, squats over the packet, shits in the packet, closes up the packet and drops it in the bin and walks off.
Do you think that maybe they should, maybe one of the food producers...
That's a true story.
One of the food producers could actually market it. Shit. Shit in a packet.
Shit you not. Shat in a bag.
It's not like born in a bag rice, this is shit in a bag.
Yeah. Crap in a bag or poo in a packet. There you go. Poo in a packet. Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho, hey ho. The earth is flat, my friends. The earth is flat and level. We do not live on a globe. We've been lied to by our government. We've been lied to by our science. The belief in gravity that's going to keep you walking on the underside of a globe is a belief system. We cannot prove this. Water is always level. Water is level. Sea is level. That's why we say sea level. Ocean level. Earth is 70% ocean, and those oceans are level. Flat, level. We live on a level plane system. We do not live on a spinning ball. Spinning balls will fly the water off. Rocks will not float in space. Rocks will fall to the floor. The apple is lifted by the tree, and density will cause it to, and its lateral buoyancy will cause it to fall to the floor. It is simply the opposite action, equal and opposite reaction. My friends, we do not live on a ball. Globes do not float in space. Globes do not hold water to their outside. Earth is flat, my friends. The earth is flat. We've been lied to about where we live and who we are. Go and look into it for yourself. I'm not asking you to believe anything. I'm asking you to leave your belief system that you live on a spinning ball and that you are evolved from monkeys. You are not evolved monkeys. You are the Creator's creation. You are the height, the pinnacle of all creation. But your science would have you think that you are a lucky, evolutionary Goldilocks, which has nothing to do with the truth of this place. What I think I need to do is take a little break. Give it away.
Spinning? I'm not spinning, I trust my senses.
Yes. Learn to trust your senses once more, my friends. The earth is a ball. Balls do not float in space. That's a pretty nice outfit, sir. I like it very much. Happy Christmas.
James Slattery Entertainment, the best entertainer in England and Ireland.
Wow. Congratulations and good friends. The earth is flat, not a ball. Earth cannot be a ball. Balls do not float in space. Rocks don't float, and water will not conform to the outside of any shape. Prove me wrong. Water must be contained, and when that water is contained, it will find level. The earth don't. Earth is provably. It will find level. The earth don't. Earth is provably. Water is level. It will not form into balls. The only balls that have been rammed down your throat are from your Masonic indoctrinators. The Vatican is behind your indoctrination. You are the center of creation. Earth is flat. Earth is level. Earth is not a ball. This is all designed to make you small, to minimize you, to reduce you to nothing. I'm a little wound up. I think Earth is flat, my friends. You've been lied to.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can. Hello. What's your name?
Bria.
Hello, Bria. You're a very cute young lady. I like your hat. You know what's true? That your hat can hold water in it because it's got a rim to it. And the earth is flat, my darling. Don't do it. And the earth is flat, my darling. Don't believe what they tell you about gravity. Gravity is not true. Gravity is not true. You cannot make water stick to the underside of a ball. Yes. Yes, like marshmallow. Yes. Earth is a marshmallow.
Can I do take the alpha first?
Yeah, give me 5. Give me 5. Have a super day. You out with your family? Have a super day. Some people get sensitive about talking to people. The Earth is flat, my friends. The Earth is provably flat and level. The Earth is flat. La Terra è piatta! La Terra è piatta! The Earth is flat and level, just like all bodies of water are level. You cannot live on a spinning ball. That's scientifically, practically impossible. The science of spinning globes is scientism. It's a belief system, a religion. You cannot live on a ball. Globes will not float in space. In fact, space is science fiction. Look into the flat earth theory. I'm offering you to do your own research. Don't believe your government. Don't believe your scientific indoctrinators. Brian Cox is a lying toe rag. Elon Musk is a CIA agent. Nothing more than a CIA agent, a government puppet designed to lie to you about who you are and where you live. I offer you this in love. The Earth is flat, my friends, not a spinning ball. Globes will not float in space. Water will not cling to the outside of a ball. Earth is flat. Water is flat. The sea is level. The oceans are level. And the Earth is level and flat. You live on a planar system, an electromagnetic torus, possibly. Earth is flat. When I was 12 years old, I told my preacher that the Bible is a flat earth book. The Bible sets it out that the earth is stationary and... My friends, I'm thanking for stopping by Plague Zero. Good for you, my friend. I want to say thanks to everybody for their support thus far and into the future. Earth is flat, my friends. Come and have a look at this information and free your mind from the truth that you are not Darwinian monkeys. You are not evolved from slime. You are not evolved from slime. You are the center of creation. The earth is flat and level. Please tell your friends that we are saying that water is level. What a surprise. That water must be contained. What a surprise. That water will not conform to the outside of a shape. Call it gravity if you want to, but you cannot prove it. You cannot prove that Earth is spinning. There is no science experiment that shows Earth to be spinning, my friends. The Earth is flat and level, not a globe. Not a globe. We do not live on a globe. Earth is flat, my friends. We've been lied to about who we are and where we live. Free your mind from the indoctrination of gravity. Gravity is just a theory. The idea that you could live on a spinning ball is a nonsense. Nonsense. Earth is flat, brother. Check it out. Earth is flat. Earth is flat, my friends. We've been lied to about who we are and where we live, about who we are and where we live. La terra è piatta. La terra plana. La terra plana. Terra plana. There you go. It's my Spanish coming back. And my Italian, la terra è piatta. The earth is flat, my friends. We've been lied to by NASA. NASA never went to the moon. And the International Space Station is nothing more than a Hollywood hoax. A Hollywood hoax, I tell ya. Man cannot float in space. That's complete poppycock. Go look at it for yourself. A little bit of critical thinking will free your mind from the lie that you are merely a Darwinian evolutionary lucky strike. Martin, my friend, thank you for coming down. Earth is flat. Free your mind. Don't raise that child thinking they live on a globe. That's complete nonsense. Free your mind, my dear. You do not live on a ball. Balls do not float. And people cannot walk underneath a ball. That's complete nonsense. Complete nonsense. Do you think you can walk underneath a ball? You think you live on a ball? You've been indoctrinated by your science. You've been indoctrinated by your government. You cannot live on a ball. Water is always level. Water will always find its level. Sea level, we say in English. Ocean level, I say to you. Oh yeah, I was going to quit the screen, and I'll come back later. I want to say.